This guy's welcome back to TV. And today, basically, this is probably going to turn into a bit of a rant about the Ballon d'Or, but I'm just going to share my opinion on it, basically. Saw recently that TNT Sports came out with an updated power rankings. I think it literally came out yesterday. I saw it. And I've got it here at the moment, so I'm basically just going to have a little look through what it is at the moment. I've had a look before, but I'll have a look through again, and I'm just going to give my opinion, to be honest, on it. I think, before I even start it, I think the Ballon d'Or is, it's definitely a little bit interesting a lot of the times, because I think, some players who have won it, I don't think have deserved it a lot of the time, and some players have been unfortunate not to get it. I don't really like the way that the Ballon d'Or is done. I feel like they should change their system, because where it's journalists and stuff who vote for the players and everything like that. I think it should be done differently, because a lot of the time, the Ballon d'Or is an individual trophy, and realistically, the person who's had the best individual season should be winning it. And obviously there are important factors in it, obviously, like how it is, the trophies, and how they've performed, and how they are on the eye, and everything, like discipline and everything like that. They're all important factors in it, but I just think there should be some sort of change to it that makes it a little bit more fairer, or makes it more so that your individual season is actually the most important thing about it. Because at the moment, a lot of the time, if you've won lots of trophies, you've won the Champions League and all stuff like that, you're usually going to be one of the favourites to win it. Because as you can see, going through this, so I started with sixth, because this is kind of the more players that are kind of ones who should be in the contention for winning it. So sixth, we've got Salah. And again, I'm going to have a little bit of bias, obviously being a Liverpool fan, but I'll definitely try and give my reasoning on why I think Salah should be winning it, the Ballon d'Or. But anyway, I'll get to that. Fifth, Nuno Mendes. Fourth is Rafinha. Third, Lamine Yamal. Second, Dembele, and number one, Vitinha. So obviously these power rankings has obviously changed quite a lot throughout obviously the season. Because to start with, or earlier in the season, kind of before we got to the Champions League kind of finals and stuff like that, Rafinha and Salah were basically 1 and 2, and Dembele was third in it. And I think, to be honest, that's kind of what it should be anyway. I think the top three should be Salah, Rafinha, and Dembele. Obviously, I'm not putting in order then, but they should be the ones, I think, in contention to win it, and should be the ones in the top three, because they've had amazing individual seasons. Obviously, I think Salah should be winning it, because, like I said, what the Ballon d'Or is, it's an individual trophy. It's something that shows how good of a season you've had individually compared to everybody else. And Salah has obviously won the Premier League, which he has a title to his name. Unfortunately, we got knocked out by PSG, who went on to go and win the Champions League, and obviously they got two players in contention for the Ballon d'Or. So again, that definitely makes it harder for Salah to win, and maybe makes it harder for people to defend why Salah should be winning it. But again, you see what he did in the Premier League season. he equaled the goals in the GA in a season with Alan Shearer and whoever the other player is. He equaled that. He got most goals. He got Golden Boot. He got most assists in the Premier League. He was way in above the best player in the league, and even almost went above the best player in the world. Anyway, Rafinha and Dembele are very close to him in the numbers, in goals and assists, in fairness. But for what he's done, Salah, he's just had such a ridiculously good season. I mean, obviously he's playing in the hardest league in the world, and obviously we as a club have actually absolutely steamrolled it. and he's been one of the big reasons. He's been probably the reason for it. He's our front line was very much kind of definitely lacking a little bit in goals. Some of them, like you look at Jota and Nunez and Gakpo a little bit maybe, but Salah was way far and above, performing much better than any of our attackers. He's well ahead in goals. He's well ahead in assists compared to them. I think the closest, I'm not sure if the closest is Diaz, but again, he still had a good season. He's still been very crucial as well, to be honest, in our Premier League win. But you just compare it to Salah and every other one of our forwards, and it's just so clear of the numbers he's done. It's just crazy. He's had such a good season, and again, he's had a couple games obviously where he's not been at his best, specifically against PSG. He wasn't at his best. He definitely was getting, Nuno Mendes definitely was giving him a run for his money, and kind of did. He kind of locked him up quite well, but he's a couple games in a season that he's had quite poor games in, and apart from those games, every other game he's scored in it, he's assisted, or he's made a big impact in it. And even the fact, even in the Premier League, it's actually kind of a shame he didn't get to the 20 plus assists as well. See on the screen saying he didn't equal Thierry Henry's feat, but to be honest, he should have. And the main reason why he didn't is just because of our lack of threat in front of goal sometimes with some of our players. Is the reason he didn't get the assist record as well, because he some of the passes and stuff he puts on the plate for people is just insane, and so our players just couldn't finish. But even ones that don't register an assist, but some of the plays he does before giving it to the person who then gets the assist, he just does so much for our team. It's just such a shame that he's now so low for some reason in this power ranking. I don't understand why Nuno Mendes is in front of him. I don't understand why Lamine Yamal is this high. Again, he's an absolutely incredible player, and I'm not saying he's bad at all. He is insane, and he's definitely up there for one of the best players in the world. But I think it's very disingenuous to say that Lamine Yamal should be higher than Salah in this Ballon d'Or ranking, because I think it's very much a little bit more of a recency bias compared with Yamal, I think, because he's played well throughout the whole season anyway, but in the league itself he's not been as good. He's only, I think, 9 goals and maybe 12 assists or something around that, if I remember correctly, he's had in La Liga. Not too bad, but it's not as good as his teammate Rafinha in the league, and Rafinha's below him. He's had a very good end to the season, Yamal. In the Champions League, he's performed absolutely brilliant against Inter Milan in both the semi-final legs. And internationally as well, he done really well. But again, internationally in the Nations League, you can't really count too much because it's not really fair to other players who haven't had a competition similar to play in. The only international, I think, really is the qualifiers, and it's not it doesn't really exactly match up to the Nations League. So that's why you can't really take it into account that much, if at all. Really, it's not really as fair. But there's no doubt, obviously, he played really well, and there's no doubt he's an incredible player, especially on the eye, which obviously in the how the Ballon d'Or is ranked, that is one of the categories. It's how good you are on the eye, which Lamine Yamal is amazing, but not to say that Salah isn't as well. I know a lot of people say he can't dribble and all this like fucking bullshit, but he's an incredible player, and you see some of the first touches he has. He can dribble past players. It's been shown with some of the goals he scored, and he doesn't do it to the same extent as Yamal, but he doesn't need to, because he's older now, and he can't do it as much. But he's got that intelligence. He's such an intelligent player with what he does, and he also has actually really good strength on the ball as well. He muscles players off the ball. He does all this sort of stuff that's maybe not as nice to look at on the eye, but it gets you consistency, it gets you goals, it gets you to win games, and that's what's more important really, than winning games and getting you titles and getting you wins and getting you trophies. That's what's important. But yeah, so again, I don't know why. Mendes has been really, really good. Again, he's probably been the best left back in the world, if we're being honest. But has his individual season been better than Salah's? No, not in my opinion. Again, I go to Rafinha because I definitely think he's one that should be in the top three because he's had an incredible season. You see again his numbers, which again it's not always just about numbers, but the fact that this is an individual award, that's one of the things that you have to put into account is their numbers that they've put up, and he's been brilliant. Look at that, 34 goals, 22 assists in all competitions. Kind of way past what Yamal is because he's 18 goals and 21 in all the competitions, so he's far and exceeded Lamine Yamal's tally as well. And he's been absolutely crucial in Barcelona winning the league and doing so well in the Champions League. And then again, going to Dembele, 33 goals, 13 assists in all competitions as well, is absolutely brilliant. Again, far exceeds Lamine Yamal as well, and he's also one that is good on the eye. He's a good dribbler of the ball. He's definitely started to shine now that Mbappe's gone. He's been able to shine, and PSG as a whole anyway have been able to shine. And again, there's a strong case for him is because again they won the Champions League, they won their league, they won their cup competition. They've won a lot of trophies as well, so there's no doubt that he should definitely be in the top three, and I would have him in the top three because he's been absolutely brilliant as well. I think having Vitinha, a very, very good player, very crucial to PSG. He's an absolutely amazing midfielder, but has his individual season been as good as the others? I wouldn't have said so. Obviously, a little bit more harsh comparing a midfielder to attackers because the attackers are going to have the numbers with their goals and assists and everything, and Vitinha is not going to, he's not going to have that as much. But he is very clinical. He is a very important player to PSG, and there's no doubt he's an outstanding player, and he definitely maybe a little bit unnoticed by some people. Again, he definitely deserves to be high, and he definitely deserves to be top 10. It maybe even deserves to be top 5, but I just, for what the Ballon d'Or is supposed to be, it's supposed to be an individual trophy. I just think, you see Salah's season he's had in the Premier League being the toughest league in the world, he's just been brilliant. And even in the Champions League anyway, in the groups, in the league table, in the league phase, shall I say, he's phenomenal in that. Again, another reason why we finished first in that. He was phenomenal. It's just a bit of a shame near the end of the season. We've not really had things to play for then because we was out of the FA Cup. The Carabao Cup we lost, but again that's a lot earlier on in the season compared to everything else. And we won the Premier League with games to spare. So again, after that, there wasn't any need for us to take it too seriously, or there's no need for us to be like winning games. There's reason we don't need to be playing as hard then, and so naturally he's not going to have the opportunity to get the assists or get more goals, because you can see after we weren't really playing very well because we'd won the league. I think everyone was still drunk, to be honest, but again, so that's a little bit that's definitely really unfortunate for Salah that near the end of the season there's not been as much. We've not had as many things to play for. He's not had the chance to show more how good he is, because the other teams, obviously PSG been in the final, they had that to play for, and they've had loads of other stuff, and he's kind of, he did kind of tail off a little bit his form. It definitely dipped a little bit, but it was only a small amount. You see, I think a lot of the thing is, I think it's kind of forgetting the start of the season as well. I think there's a lot more bias to it, to the players at the end of the season compared to at the start of the season. Because again, the start of the season, he was absolutely incredible, and he's only slightly maybe tailed off a bit with his goals and assists near the end of the season. But that was only natural because of what happened. It's only natural because we had fewer games to play, or we'd already won the league, and we then the last couple of games, we'd already won the league. There weren't anything else to play for. So again, there's only naturally why there might have been a little bit of a dip then, especially with our team as well. And that's the thing. In the round of 16 game against PSG, it was more that he's kind of he obviously didn't have a good game, but he should be allowed to have one or two games where he's slightly off of it because of what he's done prior in the season. It's more that his teammates have let him down, or we've let him down as a team. because we then other players couldn't perform as well to get past PSG, and that's led to PSG's players having more of a chance of winning the Ballon d'Or because they've gone on to win the Champions League. So it's tough. It's really tough. Because you see with other players, like I think Lewandowski definitely deserves to have a Ballon d'Or. I think that's so harsh that he didn't win it. It's annoying. It is a bit annoying. It's not so bad because again, the Ballon d'Or's like not a thing that lots of people care about anyway, or it's a thing that lots of people know. It's a bit, maybe you say rigs or something along those lines. It's a trophy that is like, it's definitely a bit up in the air. So yeah, it's a bit like, I think people can tell it's a bit dodgy and stuff because of how the way it's voted for and everything. There's going to be emphasis on certain players winning it and stuff like that. So, which is annoying because I would just like for him to get it just for him as an individual, because he works hard. He's always training. He's always always see him in the gym and stuff. And that's not a reason that he should win just because he works hard. But you can see it himself. He works so hard to have these sorts of performances. He works so hard to have this good of a season. And the fact he's in sixth at the moment in the rankings, it's just, I think, outrageous. I think it's absolutely such a disrespect to him as a player that he's sixth in the rankings, and you've got other players ahead of him. I think the main one that annoys me is having Lamine Yamal there, because Rafinha and Dembele have had very similar numbers to him this season, and have been very good individually as well this season. So I'd say it's definitely those three. Salah first, Rafinha and Dembele are a bit interchangeable. I'd have to think a bit more who I'd put there, but I think it should be those as a top three, and Salah just what he's done with as an individual. He's won the Golden Boot. He's won the most assists in the Premier League. He's the main reason why we went on to win the league. And even again in the league phase as well, he is absolutely phenomenal. Like he's had such a good season, but I think it's been clouded by the recency bias of near the end of the league that a lot of people remember, like Lamine Yamal and stuff like that. That's why they've put him so high, because on the eye he is incredible, no doubt about it, and he's also gets the numbers as well. But he's not had nearly as many as any of the other three I've mentioned that should be in the top three, because you can see it's there. 18, 21 across all competitions is very good for a 17-year-old, but I don't think he should be in contention to winning it. He shouldn't be in the top three in my opinion. Not compared to his teammate who's had better stats anyway this season, and I think just has had a better season with obviously more goals and everything throughout the league and stuff. Especially as well, like considering the league is obviously second best in the world, but I think you see some of the players that they play against at times is definitely is an interesting one, because even like Betis coming in playing Chelsea in the Conference League, where Chelsea obviously had a good, definitely near the end, they played them up at the best time because Chelsea have had a good performance, but they kind of then got tore apart in the end, Betis, and the Betis is a team that Yamal, and the Betis is that Spanish team is a better team in La Liga compared to others, and you got to question then how good of their centre backs and all stuff like that is for when players are coming against them. But yeah, again, I don't know. It's this massive rant because it just annoys me, because I think Salah deserves it. He deserves the Ballon d'Or. He's had such a good individual season, and I just want it for himself. It's just him as a player. It'd be such a good round off to the season that he's had, and I think it'd just be very harsh. But again, if he doesn't win it, he doesn't win it. It's not so bad to me and everything. I think. And loads of people they're not so interested about it and stuff, but again, it's just one of those things. It's just so harsh to him as a player. And again, I'm repeating the same things because I'm ranting so much about it. It's what happens. But yeah, I just see it as very harsh. I see it's very harsh that he doesn't win it, considering the season that he's had, how well he's performed, and I think it's harsh to say that anybody else has really had a better season than him. I think again, Dembele and Rafinha are the ones you can debatably say and debatably argue with. I'd have no problem with people saying one of those two is above him or one of those two win it above him. But anybody else that's in this power ranking, or anybody else that somebody says, like a Vitinha, Yamal, or whoever like that, if they say that they have a better chance or they deserve it more than him, then that's when I have a problem with it, because I just don't think they deserve it. I don't think they've had a better season at all. And again, like I said, the Ballon d'Or is an individual trophy. It's what it's supposed to be anyway. But again, that's also a problem I have with the trophy itself, is obviously some of the players that are getting more, that are higher than him in it, that shouldn't be, is only because of what the Ballon d'Or is. That's only because of how the rankings work and stuff and how it is voted upon. That's a reason why he potentially might not win it. It's just because of how the Ballon d'Or works anyway, as it's that's how it works itself. Yeah, and if they changed it to be a better system where it actually is whoever has had the better individual season wins it, then it makes it completely fair. Then it takes out like any kind of bias that any journalist may have or whatever. It takes out any sort of bias and it just leaves it to the facts of how they've played in the season, and that's what it should be down to. The facts, or it should be down to the facts of how they've played. You know, what they've won is definitely a factor, and just how good of a season they've had, what their stats are, how good they've been. It's just that sort of thing. That's how it should be down to. That removes any sort of bias there could be. But again, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it is. To be honest, with how all the rankings have been at the moment, I don't see him winning it, and I think it's a very big disrespect to his name. With where they are at the moment, because he should at least be in the top three. Even if he doesn't win it, at least he has to be in the top three, because then otherwise it's a very big disrespect to him, I think. But again, that's just my rant. So, you know, if you stayed and watched this, I thank you for that, because I've just gone on and ranted about the Ballon d'Or. But it's just something I've wanted to say, and one I thought a video I put out, because it's always interesting to hear people's opinions. Anyway, that's why I like watching videos. It's always interesting to hear what people's opinions are about a specific topic. So yeah, but anyway, I'm sure the next video I have is not going to be of a rant, and it'll probably be another potential transfers and stuff, but at this point probably transfers in and around Europe, and not just about Liverpool, because I've done a lot of them. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe, see you then.